The story begins with our hero Haru, who was in a forest with his companions, fighting a fierce battle against several goblins. They were using every ounce of strength they had, and yet they still could not defeat them easily. One of their companions even tried to use magic, only to be injured, forcing another member of the team to protect her and use another spell to treat her wound. This shocked Haru, because goblins were supposed to be the weakest monsters in the world of Grimgar. But after the battle and the physical effort they had poured into a life-or-death fight, he began to realize that these creatures were far stronger than them. The next day, Haru woke up early before sunrise, and his friend Ranta woke him, saying that it was time to get up. At the same moment, Minato called out to them, announcing that the food would be ready soon and that they should come down for breakfast. Haru exchanged a few words with Ranta, then the two went down together and found the rest of the team gathered. Muguza was leading the cooking, and he told them that he loved cooking and wanted them to enjoy the food he had prepared. A few minutes later, everyone gathered and began eating. Minato asked them if they had recovered, explaining that the light magic he had used healed wounds but did not replace lost blood. Haru answered that he felt fine, though he had a slight dizziness that was not worth mentioning. After that, they began thinking about their next step, since they needed to buy some supplies. But the situation was extremely difficult. They had not even been able to defeat a single monster easily, and the previous day, they had struggled greatly against 2 goblins at once. So they decided to focus only on hunting lone monsters. At that moment, Minato said that if they stuck to this plan, they might make progress. And they had to remember that what they were living through was not a game, but that their lives were in real danger. Haru was surprised by that description and asked him what he meant by the word game, but Minato admitted that he did not know why he had said it in the first place, as if the word had slipped out unconsciously. Haru began reflecting on the matter, realizing that they often felt a strange familiarity toward words whose meaning they did not understand in this new world, as if those words belonged to a mysterious past. They also carried memories they could not retrieve, along with clear flashes of other places. He remembered the day they woke up in this world. He could not remember anything before that moment, nor what he had been doing in the previous years. All he remembered was waking up in a dark place, hearing the voices of people around him. And then a door opened, so they went out and discovered that they had been inside a tower. Haru did not know any of them, and his confusion increased because he could not remember having a family or friends. Even so, everyone began discussing what they should do, and in the end, they asked the guards where they were. After that, they were taken to another location, where a man named Britt welcomed them, introduced himself as the commander of the volunteer soldiers, and told them that they were in the city of Ortana in the world of Grimgar, expressing his happiness to meet people with determination like theirs. But Rennie answered him sharply, saying that she did not like perverted people and that he needed to explain what they were doing here. This irritated Britt, so he quickly drew his dagger and threatened her because he did not like her attitude. However, Rennie grabbed the dagger's blade with her bare hand, paying no attention to the injury, which shocked him. At that point, he said that this was exactly what he had been looking for, then took out a pouch containing 10 silver coins, explaining that each of them would receive the same amount if they agreed. And indeed, they agreed to join the group. At that moment, Haru realized that he did not have his mobile phone, and he wondered in confusion what mobile phone even meant, since he could no longer remember the meaning of that word. Britt told them that they would need to kill monsters, collect parts from them, and sell them to earn money, which would allow them to buy special equipment that granted them additional advantages. But he stressed that they had to rely on themselves, because they were volunteer soldiers, and he warned them that failing to make enough effort could lead to their deaths. Then he introduced them to the rest of the trainees. The next day, Haru was near the edge of this world, where monsters and other races constantly attacked humans, which was why the Frontier Corps existed to deal with them. As for the army, it was busy protecting the city, so these duties fell to the volunteer soldiers. At the same time, Renji formed a team with several individuals, and they managed to obtain official badges from the Frontier Corps. As for Haru and his companions, they formed another team, and Minato became their leader. After registering at the guild, each of them had only 2 silver coins left, so they realized they had to be extremely frugal and buy only the essentials needed to survive. Each person chose their own guild. Haru went to the Thieves Guild, where he was surprised by the strange appearance of the place and its entrance. Suddenly, the leader appeared before him and said that it was rare for a volunteer soldier to choose to join them of his own free will. He answered that his team leader had recommended it and that he believed he was not suited for anything except becoming a thief. She liked his answer and told him that he would train under her supervision every day, that she was extremely strict, and that anyone who broke her rules would be punished severely. Haru agreed because he wanted to improve himself. She introduced herself as Barbara and said that once he finished his training and became a skilled thief, she would give him a special title. After a week of training, Haru managed to master everything Barbara had taught him and received the title Old Cat. His companions also succeeded. Moguzo became a knight, Ranta became a dragon knight, Yume became a hunter, Shiho became a mage, and Minato became a priest. Now they set out to hunt some monsters, but disagreement soon appeared among them. Ranta did not trust Yume's skills as a hunter, and she replied that she was not good with the bow and that her accuracy was poor. This only increased Ranta's annoyance, so he said that Shiho, on the other hand, seemed competent and that her abilities were clear. Then he began speaking in an irritating manner, which led to an argument between him and the two girls, revealing his arrogant and domineering nature. Minato intervened along with Moguzo, confirming that they had to keep moving because they could not remain where they were. Night was extremely dangerous, the area was full of monsters, and it was better to search for a safe location. Everyone obeyed the leader's orders and continued moving forward. Over the following hours, Haru and the girls managed to advance until they reached a goblin camp, but their numbers were far too many, and attacking them was impossible. Yume felt frustrated because the goblins' food looked better than what they had, which made Haru sad as well, especially since this was the 13th day since they had arrived in this world, and they were suffering from hunger after their money had nearly run out. Because of that, they realized they needed a quick solution, but they decided to postpone the matter until the next day, since their attempt that day had failed. At night, while they were sleeping, Haru heard a strange sound, so he got up to check it while the others remained asleep. When he went outside, he found Minato returning, and it seemed that he had been outside the camp for some time. Haru was surprised and asked him about it, so Minato told him that there was a nearby place where volunteer soldiers gathered, and that he had gone there to collect some information. Haru objected to him going alone, but Minato reassured him and told him that he had found a place containing monsters they could defeat. Haru asked to accompany him next time, so Minato asked whether he knew how to drink, but Haru answered that he was not sure and would have to try first. Then they talked about their experiences in the guilds, and Minato told him that his instructor constantly scolded him, so he felt very happy when his training ended. At that moment, Haru noticed that the moon was red, which seemed strange to him, and he felt that the world he had come from had been different, or that everything in this world was different from what he was used to. The next day, after entering the forest, Haru spotted a lone goblin beside a stream, so he called his companions to get ready. They approached it carefully in order to launch a surprise attack, but Ranta suddenly rushed forward while shouting, which immediately drew the goblin's attention. Yume fired a quick arrow that prevented it from escaping, giving Haru a chance to approach. Although he knew that his role as a thief did not require direct confrontation, he tried to buy time, and even tried to wound the goblin's hand, but the wound was only minor. At that moment, the rest of the team arrived one after another, and within seconds they surrounded the goblin and pushed Moguzo forward to face it. He managed to stop it from escaping, but he could not finish it off. At that moment, Ranta seized the opportunity and struck the goblin, clearly affecting it. Ranta was surprised by the feeling that came over him, but he continued fighting without hesitation. The goblin began trying to defend itself, and signs of fear appeared on its face, along with a desperate desire to survive. This made our hero realize that it was fighting to stay alive, just like any other living creature. Even so, Ranta continued attacking, while Yume pointed out that fear of battle had taken hold of all of them. Our hero then rushed in to join them, and Shiho used her magic to support and assist them. The goblin tried to strike back and managed to push our hero away slightly and injure him, causing him to fall to the ground. Then it rushed toward him, trying to attack again, but our hero resisted and used his hand to hold it back. At that moment, Ranta intervened, and Moguzo ended the fight with one final decisive blow. After the battle ended, everyone was completely exhausted and could hardly believe they had managed to defeat it. Yume helped our hero, while Minato used his magic to heal him. After that, Ranta searched the goblin and found a coin it had been carrying. They also learned that to receive the special reward, they had to present a part of the monster after delivering the finishing blow. But Minato explained that the one who ended the fight was Moguzo, which made Ranta angry and caused him to start arguing, without noticing that the goblin was still alive. Suddenly, the goblin grabbed its sword and delivered a light strike, then used the opportunity to flee. Ranta rushed after it quickly and knocked it to the ground. The struggle between them intensified, and Ranta began striking it with his sword again and again, while the others stood there stunned by what was happening. The situation was difficult for them because the goblin looked as if it was trying to escape in order to survive, which filled them with fear and confusion. After Ranta finally ended its life completely, he realized what he had done and began breaking down from the shock. Our hero noticed that his hand had become heavy and that he could not feel it well. The whole scene increased his tension, and he did not know how to act. Several hours later, they returned to the city and went to a shop to sell what they had obtained. The merchant offered them 30 copper coins for the damaged silver coin, which was far less than its real value, surprising them. But when he saw the fang, he said he could give them 1 silver coin for it, because it was a suitable material for making charms against negative things. After they sold everything they had, they gathered again, and Minato said that they should rest and use the rest of the day to relax. Everyone agreed, but our hero noticed that Ranta had been silent since they returned, so he left him alone and went out to walk around the city. Each of them spent the time in their own way. Ranta went to eat the meat dish he had been craving, the girls went to buy clothes, Moguzo sat down to mend his clothes and clean his sword, and Minato decided to rest after all the exhaustion. After a while, Minato noticed that the girls were admiring something, so he stepped forward and bought a gift for Shiho, which made her feel embarrassed. Our hero went to speak with Ranta since he noticed that he seemed distracted, but Ranta told him that it was none of his business and that he was just happy because he had obtained his first Vince, which would help him later. Our hero asked him what the benefit of collecting more Vince was, so Ranta explained that he could use them to summon a creature that would help him locate enemies, which was extremely important in combat. Our hero was surprised and became excited to see it. Gradually, the rest of the team joined the conversation, and Minato drew their attention to the view in front of them, pointing out the beauty of the sunset. Everyone looked at the scene and enjoyed it, and our hero felt its deep beauty. At night, our hero was thinking about what had happened and wanted to ask Minato why each of them had only received 18 copper coins, but he could not express it, so he chose silence and suggested that they sleep. Suddenly, Ranta got up excitedly and suggested that they go take a bath. Our hero was surprised because they had already bathed earlier, but he realized that Ranta intended to bother the girls. The others tried to stop him, but he rushed off. And the moment he entered, the girls attacked him, beat him, and threw him outside unconscious, making it a lesson for him so he would not repeat it. The next day, our hero woke up early and found Moguzo preparing breakfast. He asked him why he was doing that, even though it was not his turn, and Moguzo answered that he liked doing it and felt happy when he helped others. Our hero thanked him and told him that everyone loved his food and that they did not know what they would do without him, which made Moguzo very happy. After breakfast was ready, our hero went to wake the others, and a little later, everyone apologized for what had happened, except Ranta, who treated it as just a passing incident. But when our hero noticed the fear and embarrassment on Shiho's face, he asked Ranta to apologize. Ranta refused, claiming that he had not seen anything, and even blamed the condition of the house. In the end, he admitted that he had intended to enter, but had not managed to see anything, which only made Yume angrier. Several hours later, while they were camping under the rain, our hero noticed a distance between the boys and the girls. They no longer spoke as they had before, which made the atmosphere tense. After waiting a little, he went out with Yume to search for any tracks, and they found a burning fire, which showed that goblins had been there recently. From the footprints, our hero concluded that there might be 3 goblins, which was too many for them and difficult to face. While they were returning, our hero apologized to Yume for what had happened, and she told him that she understood and that the matter had bothered Shiho more than her, but that Ranta's behavior was unacceptable. Our hero agreed with her, and when they returned, he told the team that there was no hope of facing those goblins, so they decided to return home. Several days passed without them being able to gather money because of the bad weather and the lack of chances to hunt monsters. One night, our hero was washing his clothes and felt regret because his clothes had become torn and worn out, and they could no longer endure much more, but he did not have the money to buy new ones. After he finished and while he was leaving the bathroom, Shiho entered, and he was surprised by her beautiful scent. Before leaving, curiosity pushed him to look at her clothes, expecting that she was suffering like them, but he felt ashamed when he noticed how few they were, and he scolded himself because he did not want to become like Ranta. At that moment, Yume arrived and greeted him, so he quickly answered and left, so he would not seem as if he were spying. After that, he met Ranta, who was heading to wash his clothes. Our hero stopped him and told him that the rain would not help him, and that he should wait until tomorrow. He even lied to him, claiming that he regretted washing his clothes. He did that because the girls were still in the bath, and if Ranta entered, another problem would happen, so he wanted to avoid it. And indeed, he managed to convince him, and they returned to their room, which made him feel somewhat relieved. The next day, they all headed to the ruins of Demora, a city that had once been a prosperous capital, but had now become a ruin controlled by goblins, especially in the dangerous inner areas. Our hero and his team went toward the outskirts where they could face lone goblins. After walking for a while among the ruins, our hero found a sleeping goblin that looked exhausted, so he immediately called the team. Minato began giving instructions. Our hero and Ranta would attack it while it was asleep, and if it woke up, Moguzo would intercept it, while the girls supported them from behind. Moments later, they reached it, and without hesitation, Ranta delivered a strike. But the goblin woke up screaming and tried to defend itself, which confused Ranta and made him lose focus. At that moment, Minato intervened and delivered a powerful strike that ended the fight quickly, shocking our hero, who realized that attacking monsters while they slept was much easier. When they searched the goblin, they found 4 silver coins and other items on it, making it the best loot they had obtained so far. At that point, Minato confirmed that although this battle had been easy, that did not mean things would always be that way. They had to remain focused because they were still in dangerous territory, and they also had to value this money properly. But Ranta replied that at the very least they should celebrate, because he had fought bravely and dealt significant damage. Minato acknowledged that and pointed out that his contribution had been important, and he agreed that they could celebrate a little. This made our hero happy, because he felt that the team's condition had suddenly improved, giving them a sense of comfort they had never felt before. Over the following hours, our hero and his team focused on hunting lone goblins, but sometimes they came across groups of 5, a number that was impossible for them to face, so they withdrew immediately. At the same time, they began drawing a map of the areas they moved through, which helped them understand their routes and identify suitable targets when they returned to the same places. They also managed to eliminate several more goblins and obtained better loot, which brought happiness to their hearts. When they returned, our hero was able to buy new clothes after negotiating with the saleswoman a little, while Ranta and Moguzo enjoyed a good meal. After that, our hero was inspecting his dagger, and Minato noticed the many marks on it. Our hero told him that he always made sure to keep his weapon in the best possible condition. At that moment, Moguzo and Ranta arrived carrying food to prepare. Our hero pointed out that the amount was large and might spoil, but Minato reassured him that it was not a problem, since they could buy whatever they needed in terms of clothes, equipment, or food whenever necessary. Then Ranta spoke proudly, announcing that he had gained a special skill he could develop in order to defeat any enemy he faced. Our hero agreed with Minato's opinion, but then Ranta noticed a small statue Moguzo had made by hand. He was impressed by his skill and suggested selling it for profit. However, Moguzo explained that he did not do it for money, but because he enjoyed wood carving in his free time. On the other side, Yumi spoke with Shiho and advised her to overcome her fear of boys and try talking to them more, because she was worried about her constant isolation. Shiho apologized and promised to try to improve. At night, while they were sleeping, our hero thanked Minato for everything he had done. Minato was surprised since he had been busy writing in his diary. Our hero explained that he had not meant to say it, but Minato admitted that he was the one who was grateful to them because he did not know what would have happened to him without them. Our hero pointed out that he might have joined another team, but Minato said that he was not good at dealing with others, and perhaps he would not have had any friends. Our hero thanked him, confirming that they were still alive because of him. Minato thanked him in return, and then they decided to sleep. Before falling asleep, our hero looked at the sky and noticed that he had grown used to the red moon, which was strange and made him realize that humans could adapt to any environment. Several days later, Minato was walking with Shiho in silence until they reached a bridge. He stopped and began feeding the pigeons. Shiho was surprised by the way he dealt with the birds, so he asked her to try. She was nervous, but she agreed, and when a pigeon approached her, she panicked and almost fell, but Minato caught her before she hit the ground, opening the door for a conversation between them. This made Minato happy, because he had wanted to get closer to her for some time. In the following days, our hero and his team continued searching for goblins inside the tunnels. There, Ranta used one of his new skills, but missed the target. In return, our hero and the rest of the team took their positions. Our hero knew that Ranta was not the only one who had learned a new skill, because Yumi had also learned a close combat technique, and she was able to deliver a strong blow to the goblin. Our hero used the opportunity and activated his new skill to attack it from behind, causing the goblin to fall to the ground. But Ranta rushed in quickly and delivered the final blow to claim the vince for himself, which annoyed Yume. Ranta justified it by saying that Black Knights served their ruler, so they had to act this way. A few minutes later, Shiho used a new dark magic skill and launched a long-range attack that hit another goblin. Minato used the opportunity and struck it with a precise blow. Our hero was surprised by Minato's performance, realizing how important he was to the team. Even though priests were not supposed to use bladed weapons, he was able to fight efficiently on the front lines. After that, they faced another goblin. Moguzo blocked it, used his new skill, and struck it with such force that he knocked it over the rubble. Ranta rushed in and finished it off, happy that he had collected 3 vince on his own, which would strengthen his demon who could weaken enemies through whispering. Our hero commented that those demons did not seem very useful, so Ranta got angry and told him not to speak badly about his demon Zodiac. The girls thought its appearance was cute rather than scary, while Minato remained silent for a moment, looking up at the sky, and then they continued walking. Later, the team sat down to rest and talk about what they had accomplished. Yume began speaking about the ruler of hunters, whom she always prayed to, but Ranta showed annoyance at the conversation and considered it useless, which made Minato laugh. Minato explained that they had become a strong team since they had managed to defeat 3 goblins together, and if they organized themselves better, they could defeat 4. He also explained their roles. Moguzo had become the team's shield, capable of enduring attacks. Ranta was bold and did not fear combat. Yume was brave, which reassured him while healing, and Shiho had gained important magic that could reveal enemies and restrain them. In the end, he confirmed that they were a very good team, but our hero noticed that Minato had not mentioned his role, which confused him, though he decided to ignore it for now. As they walked, our hero noticed something on the roof of one of the buildings and felt danger, so he rushed toward Minato and pushed him away. At that moment, an arrow struck him in the shoulder. Everyone immediately noticed that there was a goblin on top of the building shooting arrows, and another arrow struck our hero's leg. At the same time, a larger goblin approached, so Moguzo confronted it, while Ranta clashed with another and the girls tried to provide support, but Minato ordered them to retreat immediately, confirming that this was a trap and that they had to run. Everyone ran toward a passage they had discovered earlier, and they managed to enter it at the last moment before a rock fell and sealed the entrance behind them. Thus, they got away from the monsters, but at that moment, one of the goblins struck Minato. He stopped for a moment and told them that he was fine, and they continued moving. After they had moved away from the ruins, they stopped to catch their breath. Suddenly, Minato fell to the ground, and they noticed a weapon lodged in his back. The shock was overwhelming. Our hero rushed toward him, helped him lie down, and asked him to use his magic to heal himself. But Minato told him that his energy was almost gone and tried to call out to him, while our hero kept urging him to hold on. Minato apologized to him and asked him to rely on himself. Then his body went completely still. Our hero ordered the others to try to stop the bleeding by any means. After a great effort, they managed to reach the Healers Guild, where they met Minato's teacher. Our hero rushed toward him, bowed before him, and begged him to save his friend, but the man sadly told him that he could not heal someone who had already passed away. This news struck them harshly, and our hero refused to believe it, insisting that they had not been too late. But the priest explained that they needed to hold a funeral quickly because the body could turn into something else due to the curse of the place. These words made the shock even heavier. Shiho collapsed in tears, while our hero asked about the cost of the funeral. The priest offered to cover it because Minato had been his student, but our hero refused and insisted that the team bear the full cost because Minato had been their leader and their friend. And so, everyone sank into deep grief after losing the most important person in the team. Hours later, the white smoke rising from the cremation ceremony drew the attention of many people in the city as they realized that one of the volunteers had passed away. Even Brit felt sorrow over what had happened. Our hero and his companions scattered their friend's ashes into the air, trying to comfort one another because losing him had been a devastating shock for all of them. The following night, they buried what remained of Minato, and none of them was able to speak. They sat for long hours in a heavy silence filled with grief. Our hero was thinking that even death in this world cost money since they had been forced to pay 1 silver coin to complete the funeral and cremation rites. Suddenly, Ranta stood up and announced that he was leaving. Moguzo asked him where he was going, but he answered that it no longer mattered, that everything was over, and that there was no point in continuing. Yume became angry and slapped him, saying that he had no right to say something like that, especially in front of Minato's grave. Ranta was surprised and nearly responded, but when he saw the state of the others, he stayed silent and left without a word. After a while, our hero and Maguzo went out to look for him and found him in a nearby tavern. They sat with him, and Ranta ordered more alcohol. They told him that they had come for him, not to drink, but he replied that it was fine, and that even Minato used to do this sometimes. In the end, the three sat together drinking, trying to get past the pain weighing on their hearts and adapt to the loss of their leader. At that moment, Ranta declared that there was no point in continuing, that everything they were doing had lost its meaning, and that they had only been able to function because Minato was there. Now there was no reason to keep going as volunteer fighters risking their lives. Our hero answered him, insisting that they had no choice and that this was certainly not what Minato would have wanted for them. But Ranta became emotional and raised his voice, claiming that if Minato had not used so much of his magic to heal him, he would still be alive. Our hero was shocked by the accusation and angrily replied that it was not his fault and that they had all been in the same situation and no one had expected that trap. As the argument escalated and their voices grew louder, they drew the attention of the people around them, so Maguzo slammed the table violently, spilling some of the drinks, and ordered them to stop, stressing that they were one team and should not act like this. Ranta tried to respond but went silent when he saw Maguzo's anger. Maguzo asked him to think about his future. Ranta answered that he saw no point in continuing without someone as important as Minato, and that he would rather do nothing. Our hero objected, explaining that life required money and that they could not simply leave the Knights Guild. At that moment, a young man named Kika approached and greeted them enthusiastically since he had met them before. He asked how they were doing and told them that he had heard from Minato that they had gone to the city ruins, but he had not seen him since, so he asked what had happened. Our hero answered that Minato had died the previous day. Kika was shocked and saddened, praising him as a kind person and a skilled soldier. Then he told them that he had left Renji's team and joined someone named Toko, and he offered to introduce them to him. But when he noticed their condition, he backed away, confirming that what they were feeling was natural because Minato had been the core of the team. He added that priests are often targeted by monsters because of their power, which made Maguzo feel even more guilty as he believed he should have protected him. Kika advised them to think positively and stressed that they needed to look for a new priest for the team. Our hero pointed out how difficult that would be, but Kika reassured him that he knew people who could help them. This conversation brought a little hope back to them, so they waited for his help. The next day, our hero met with the team, and Kika introduced them to a priestess named Mary. But from the very first moment, our hero felt uncomfortable around her because she seemed extremely strict and immediately began asking them directly about their plans. Our hero told her that they intended to head to the ruins, so she asked him why they had not moved yet, which increased the tension. At night, our hero sat with the team, and everyone was emotionally exhausted, especially since they did not feel comfortable with Mary. While they were planning, Mary refused to get close to the fighting, confirming that her role as a priestess did not include participating in direct combat. This annoyed Ranta, and the arguments between them repeated because of her sharp attitude, which increased our hero's stress as he tried to keep the situation under control. He was not the only one bothered either. Maguzo also expressed frustration with her attitude, and it was clear that the entire team was living through a state of tension and disharmony. As for combat, their performance was poor. When Ranta was injured in the leg, Mary refused to heal him, considering the wound minor and not worth spending her energy on, and the day ended without any achievement. Our hero sat thinking about Minato, realizing that he had not been merely a healer but also a fighter, leader, and strategist. He began wondering what he could do to take his place. After that, Maguzo pointed out that they had drifted away from their goal and needed to regain their focus. At that moment, Renji entered the tavern, drawing everyone's attention with his presence. He walked straight toward our hero and his team, told them that he had heard about Minato's death, then tossed them a gold coin as a gift. Our hero immediately stood up, called out to him, and returned the coin, confirming that he could not accept it. Renji answered calmly and left without adding another word. Ranta was annoyed by our hero's action, considering it a huge missed opportunity, but Maguzo supported our hero, confirming that Minato would not have accepted it. After that, our hero said that they needed to talk with the girls because they had not communicated with them since Minato's death, and even the decision to add a new priestess had been made without asking their opinion. Our hero approached Yume and asked her if she was upset. She was surprised by the question, so he told her that he had decided to bring Mary in without consulting her or Shiho and that he felt he had acted too quickly. Yume became emotional and said it was not his fault, then began crying, insisting that he did not understand how she felt. He asked her to explain and she told him that she was not good at dealing with others or expressing herself. Our hero was shocked because he felt the same way. Yume said that all of them were in the same situation and that they were friends, or at least she hoped they were. Our hero admitted that she was right and pointed out that Minato, despite being the leader, had not been able to do everything alone. They had been a complete team. He remembered Minato's final words and the trust he had placed in him, and he could not hold himself back anymore, breaking down in tears. He embraced Yume, and they cried together, releasing the pain inside them. After they calmed down, our hero apologized to her, admitting that he had not cared about them enough and that she and Shiho had felt lonely. Yume told him that she had been exhausted, but that she felt a little safe in his arms. They agreed to try to deal with Mary better and work to improve the team's situation. At that moment, Shiho opened the window and saw them, felt embarrassed, and quickly closed it. Our hero panicked and tried to explain, but she said there was no need, leaving him and Yume in a state of tension and embarrassment. The next day, Shiho apologized to our hero after Yume explained the situation to her, because she had initially thought the two of them were in a relationship. This conversation caught Ranta's attention, so he asked what was going on, and Yume explained the misunderstanding. Ranta became even more confused, but our hero ended the matter, confirming that it was only a misunderstanding. During breakfast, they discussed what had happened. Ranta was annoyed by how simple the matter was, but our hero pointed out that they needed to improve how they dealt with Mary because they had not been at their best with her either, so everyone agreed. Later, our hero greeted Mary, expecting her to ignore him, but she answered calmly, then asked them to get ready to move. They headed to the ruins, and the girls tried to open a conversation with her, but she answered coldly, keeping the atmosphere tense. After making the plan, they attacked 3 goblins. During the fight, they suffered a few wounds, but Mary ordered them not to retreat because of minor injuries, confirming that they were warriors. Ranta was annoyed, but he rushed forward with force and killed one of them, while Muguzo became fired up and attacked another with a powerful blow. Shiho used her magic to restrain a goblin, then Yume tried to finish it off, but it moved slightly, so our hero stepped in and delivered a lethal strike with his dagger. Ranta kept complaining about the final blow, but Mary went to Muguzo, asked to inspect his wound, apologized to him, and then healed him. At that moment, our hero realized that she preferred to heal them after the battle ended, not during it, and he gradually began to understand her style. A short while later, our hero tried to explain to Mary how Minato used to manage battles and heal at the same time, and how careful he had been to keep the team in the best possible condition during combat. Then he asked for her opinion and what plan she thought would be suitable, but Mary answered coldly that she had no opinion, and that if they did not like her style, she could leave the team. This response made our hero feel helpless, because he did not know how to deal with her. That night, our hero and his companions went to the tavern again, along with Yume and Shiho, who were a little nervous because it was their first time entering such a crowded place. At that moment, Mary entered, glanced at them quickly, then continued toward the bar, which annoyed Ranta because she ignored them. Shiho commented that Mary might be upset, especially since they had not greeted her. Our hero noticed one of the soldiers approach Mary and speak with her briefly, then leave. Late at night, everyone slept, but our hero went outside alone to think. After reading Minato's diary, he realized that Minato had trusted him and wanted him to become the leader after him. Even so, our hero was hesitant and did not believe he could carry that responsibility. While he was lost in thought, he felt as if he could hear Minato's voice telling him that he could do it. Our hero objected, insisting that he was not like him, but the voice encouraged him to prove himself to himself and to his team. That pushed him to decide to try. The next day, the team returned to face the goblins, and our hero noticed that Muguzo had lost some of his confidence, especially because he was not wearing a helmet. Our hero intervened using his thief skill and attacked one of the goblins from behind, which helped Muguzo finish it off. He also noticed that Mary prayed over the monsters after they died, which surprised him, since he had not expected that from her. After that, while walking with Muguzo, he told him that he needed to buy a helmet and offered to help pay for it, but Muguzo refused. Our hero explained that he was the most important person on the front line and needed to be properly equipped to protect everyone. The girls also expressed their desire to contribute. At that moment, Ranta pointed out the presence of a goblin, but they were suddenly attacked from behind. The goblin tried to approach the girls, but Ranta blocked it. Even so, it was fast and attacked again. At that moment, Mary struck it hard with her staff, shocking our hero, because she had previously insisted that she did not fight, but what happened proved otherwise, especially since she had been defending Shiho. After the fight ended, our hero thanked her for helping. Later, the day ended and everyone was going their own way, but our hero called out to Mary. She showed annoyance at the way he called her, but he invited her to eat with them, which surprised everyone. Mary refused, but politely, which made our hero feel that she had wanted to say something but held herself back and left. Maguzo commented that she seemed different that day, and the girls agreed, while our hero felt that perhaps she had wanted to say, "See you tomorrow," something she was not used to saying. After that, our hero decided to go to the young man they had seen earlier, and they did indeed go to him. Our hero asked Shino about Mary, and Shino told them that the one who knew her story well was Hayashi. Hayashi approached them and began telling them that he had once been on Mary's team. It had included a thief, a knight, and a mage, and they had advanced very quickly, even obtaining their badge in only 10 days. He explained that they had been extremely confident, especially because Mary healed everyone even for minor injuries, and she was always smiling. She was the backbone of the team, not merely a healer, but also someone who fought and planned. Because of that confidence, they decided to enter a mine filled with monsters called kobolds, despite its dangerous reputation, and they continued until they reached the 5th floor. There, they faced a huge monster known as the Dead Spots monster. Hayashi said that he did not remember everything because he had received a powerful blow that knocked him unconscious. When he woke up, he found 2 of his companions dead, and the 3rd fighting while badly injured. He begged Mary to heal him, but she was holding the body of one of their companions, crying and apologizing because she had exhausted all her magic and could no longer do anything. Since that day, Mary changed completely because she could not bear losing 3 members of her team while she was the healer. Hayashi continued, explaining that when he regained consciousness, Mary tried to get up to help their last teammate, but he looked at her with an expression that told him everything, so he had no choice but to carry her and run away, and he did not remember how they escaped, as if his body had moved on its own. After that, Shino's team received them, but Mary could not continue and left after several days. He understood that she was suffering deeply despite her silence. He concluded by saying that he no longer blamed her for any decision she made, and that she had moved between teams, but she was no longer the same as before. He had even begun to wonder whether he had truly saved her or whether what remained of her was only an empty body, while the real Mary had stayed there with her companions. For that reason, he asked them to help her. Shino added that he too had lost companions before, and that they understood better than anyone how hard that was. They had to hold on to one another and not forget the pain, because that was what gave them strength. On the way back, Ranta said that Mary's past did not matter, and that they should not treat her in any special way because everyone had gone through painful experiences. But Shiho objected, confirming that what Mary went through was different and that they should try to understand her. Our hero agreed with her, but Ranta pointed out that it was not logical to focus on someone new and neglect the people who had been with them from the beginning. At that moment, our hero realized the reason behind Ranta's behavior. He felt left out, so he apologized to him and promised to try to get closer to him more. Ranta was surprised by that and said shyly that he would go think about how to deal with Mary. The next day, Ranta also apologized to Shiho, confirming that he had not meant to pressure her, which amazed everyone because apologizing was not something he usually did. Our hero felt relieved because he was beginning to understand each member of the team, but he decided to wait and see how they would deal with Mary after learning about her past. The next day, our hero was in the ruins, but the rain made visibility difficult. Suddenly, he saw a goblin carrying the dagger he had dropped on the day Minato died, and he wanted to attack immediately, but Yume stopped him, explaining that it was not the right time, allowing them to avoid being discovered. Our hero thanked her and promised to stay focused. They decided to track the goblin to its lair, but they did not find any camp or anything important. Ranta suggested returning because of the rain, and our hero agreed, but asked Mary to speak with him. Mary was surprised and told him to hurry, adding that if he intended to dismiss her, he should tell her directly. Our hero realized that she thought that because of how they had acted after learning about her past, so he decided to explain. He told her that Minato had not been merely a priest, but a leader and strategist, and that he had carried many burdens and died while protecting them, which made them feel guilty. But he also explained that they had learned something important from him, which was that they were not just a team, but friends. No matter how much they disagreed or argued, they would remain that way. He confirmed to her that she was now part of the team and a friend to all of them. The others agreed, even Ranta, who also described her as a friend, which surprised Mary. Hours later, they returned to the city, and each of them said goodbye to the others. Although our hero invited her to join them to buy a helmet for Moguzo or to have dinner, she refused, explaining that she was still not ready. But this time she said farewell differently, saying that she hoped to see them tomorrow. That was enough for our hero to feel that a small step toward change had been achieved. In the end, the entire team went to buy a helmet for Moguzo and some other supplies, then enjoyed the rest of their day before returning to rest, while Mary remained sitting alone in her room, thinking about her loneliness. In the following days, they continued hunting goblins in the city ruins and worked with better coordination as a team, earning some profit. Haru felt that they were gradually getting closer to Mary, and she, in turn, began gaining more trust in them, until it seemed as if they were finally heading in the right direction. One night, during one of their usual gatherings, the other soldiers began calling them the Goblin Hunters and joking with them because they were always focused on that. This annoyed Ranta, but Haru told him that their words were not wrong and that it was better to ignore those comments. As the days passed, the team continued hunting goblins, gradually becoming able to overpower them, and they grew stronger and more united. They even managed to invite Mary to share food with them at the tavern, and Hayashi was happy when he saw her blending in with the team, but Haru realized that he had never seen Mary laugh before. Even so, they continued focusing on their goal, because they needed a better necklace for Moguzo and some weapons for themselves. During that time, they learned new skills. Haru learned an offensive skill and another for stealth and silent movement, while Shiho gained a spell that could put enemies to sleep. Ranta became able to use a skill that let him move away from his opponents, and Moguzo learned an ability that confused his enemies with a shout that froze them for a few seconds. As for Yumi, she gained a skill that increased her accuracy with the bow. As for Mary, she did not need to learn additional skills since she was already stronger than all of them. But Haru discovered that on some nights, when a blue moon appeared, he could see a path of light. He used that and followed it, and when the light pointed toward a certain target, he delivered a precise stab with his dagger that struck the target directly. He thought then that he would ask his teacher about the meaning of this phenomenon. Ranta suggested that it was time for them to move forward. Hours later, when night fell, they rested, and then Haru saw that vision again with Minato. Minato asked him if he was nervous, but Haru denied it, and admitted that whatever their origin might be, they were now friends here in Grimgar. He looked at the moon, wishing he could show him how deeply connected their team had become. The next day, they returned to the ruins, and there they showed Mary the rituals they had grown used to performing before battle. Ranta asked Haru to say something, so he asked them if they had slept well. Everyone answered yes except Mary, who said she had not slept well. Haru told her that he felt the same, because he could not stop thinking about Minato, and he wanted to find a way to avenge his death. He also felt guilt over what had happened, and perhaps Mary was going through the same feelings. He confirmed that they had to trust themselves and trust one another, because they were friends, and they would not allow themselves to lose another friend. Mary said that she had promised herself she would never lose another friend again, and then they headed into battle. Ranta noticed that Mary was calling Haru in a gentler tone, which seemed strange to him. A few minutes later, while they were moving quietly through the ruins where the goblins had gathered in their positions, the team took their places. Yume began by firing an arrow that took down one of the guards. Then Haru attacked another guard at the entrance. But the situation became a little complicated, so Ranta stepped in and helped him finish it quickly. At the same time, Moguzo rushed forward and broke down one of the doors, drawing the attention of several goblins. The team advanced, and Moguzo, with Shiho's help, managed to kill 2 monsters on the stairs. Then they kept moving until they reached a corridor where 4 goblins were waiting for them, one of whom was much larger than the others. The ordinary goblin engaged Moguzo in combat, and Yume's arrows did not seem to affect him much. At the same time, Ranta faced 2 smaller goblins, while Yume fired another arrow at the last goblin, but it broke the arrow and pulled it from its body as if it had barely been affected. And so, the battle split into several fights in the same place. Ranta tried to lure the goblins according to his plan, but they did not advance, which surprised him. Haru realized that these creatures understood human fighting methods. Even when Shiho used sleep magic on the giant goblin, one of them woke it up immediately, while the other goblin continued fighting Yume. Haru tried to distract his opponent, but he realized that he could not defeat it alone. So Mary stepped in and announced that she would handle it. She began facing it while Haru attacked from behind, delivering several powerful blows. Even so, the goblin managed to hit him and push him away. Mary then stepped in to heal Yume, while Maguzo continued fighting the giant goblin, enduring its violent strikes. Mary supported the battle with her magic, and Shiho managed to approach and strike the monster with magic that threw it off balance. Maguzo used that chance to deliver a decisive blow that ended its life. This terrified the remaining goblins, so they began to flee. Ranta managed to kill one of them and told Shiho that getting close had been reckless, but useful. Haru decided to follow the blood trail left by the goblin he had faced, since he had not finished his fight with it. Eventually, he reached a room where the goblin was dying. Ranta said that it was a matter of life and death, but before he could finish it off, an arrow shot down from the ceiling and struck Mary in the back, throwing everyone into panic, because it brought back what had happened to Minato. Haru tried to intervene and was wounded in the hand, but Ranta and Maguzo managed to kill the injured goblin while the archer escaped through the ceiling. Haru's anger flared and he decided to chase that goblin. After distracting it, he managed to get close and realized that the dagger it carried was the same one that had killed Minato. The two clashed in a fierce fight until they reached the edge of the roof, where the goblin tried to strangle him. At that moment, Haru used Yume's dagger, which she had thrown to him, and stabbed it with lethal force, ending its life. At last, he found a little peace. Several days later, Haru went with his companions to Minato's grave, and he could think of nothing but how short the time they had spent together had been. He wished he had gotten to know him more, instead of only holding on to the ideal image he had created of him. Realizing that, like any human being, Minato must have had flaws they never discovered, but there was no more time for such thoughts. They proudly told him that they had finally managed to improve their situation, defeat many goblins, and officially become volunteer soldiers, carrying their badges. Haru could not stop himself from remembering their early days, when they were hungry and needed everything, while now their situation had become much better. Because of that, he hoped Minato would be proud of how far they had come. And he was not the only one who felt that way, because Shiho came and told him that, as their leader, he deserved this recognition, which was why they had given him several badges proving that he had officially become a volunteer soldier. Haru imagined that Minato might have considered it unnecessary spending, but no one cared about that. All they wanted was to honor him as the leader who had always stood beside them. After that, they left the place one by one, and Haru told them that they had truly become an amazing team. Then they said goodbye to their friend and walked back quietly with Mary. Haru asked Mary about her wounds, and she answered that she was feeling much better and had healed them with her magic, but that she still needed to repair her damaged clothes. Haru understood and noticed that she looked happier. He then said that he wished magic could repair clothes as well, which made her smile and ask why he was still sad even though he had avenged his friend. He answered that he wished magic could heal emotional wounds too. They had lost a friend and knew how painful that was, and he did not want to imagine how she had felt after losing 3 of her companions. Mary was surprised by his words because she thought they did not know. He apologized, saying that perhaps he had brought up something she did not want to talk about, but she confirmed that there were wounds magic could not heal and that she was grateful for his words because they had eased her heart a little. Haru wanted to say more, but the sound of the bell interrupted their conversation, forcing them to say goodbye, hoping to meet again the next day as usual. The next day, our hero woke up feeling somewhat anxious, but then remembered that they had decided to take a day off, so he headed to the kitchen, wondering what he could do. Maguzo told him that Ranta had left very early, which surprised him, since he had not expected that from him. Maguzo began preparing food, and the two exchanged a few words. Our hero felt that working on a day off made no sense, but Maguzo explained that he had been hungry and wanted to make something to eat. Our hero asked where Ranta had gone, and Maguzo answered that he had seen him carrying his fishing rod, which made him think that he had gone out to enjoy his day. He also mentioned that he had not seen Shiho or Yumi, so he assumed they were still asleep, especially since Shiho had been deeply affected by the loss of their companion, and perhaps the two had spent the night talking about him. Our hero changed the subject and asked Maguzo about his plans, and Maguzo answered that he would repair his armor and sharpen his weapons, which seemed normal to him. Then Maguzo asked him about his own plans, but he had not thought about that before, so he remained silent. After that, our hero went out for a walk and found Shiho on the bridge feeding the birds. He used the chance to speak with her and asked her about those birds, so she answered that they reminded her of beautiful memories. Our hero pointed out that this was the same place where they had watched the sunset together, which made her behavior change slightly. Then Shiho hesitantly expressed that she wanted to keep walking with him and stay by his side a little longer, which surprised him. He answered that he also wished they could spend more time together. Our hero continued wandering without a clear purpose until he reached a high terrace, where he found Mary. She greeted him and invited him to sit with her, explaining that the place was meant for the girls who lived there. Our hero felt a little embarrassed, but she reassured him that it was just a terrace and that there was no problem with him being there. She also told him that she had been living there since she left the volunteers' lodging, and added that she was thinking of introducing Shiho and Yume to the place if they ever decided to leave. Our hero agreed, confirming that they would like it. Then Mary mentioned that she had many memories in that place, which made our hero realize that she had lived through many experiences with her companions and that this explained her clear nostalgia. At the same time, Ranta was lying down, waiting for his fishing rod to catch something, when he suddenly saw Yume climbing a nearby rock and was amazed by her skill. As for Maguzo, he was enjoying his day and resting after spending some time playing with our hero. Later, our hero and Mary went out for a short walk to clear their minds, and they were impressed by the views overlooking the sea. In the evening, they gathered again, and Kika told them that the ruins had become more dangerous because stronger goblins had appeared, and that some beginners had been injured. Our hero said that he had expected this because the goblins they had faced before had not been ordinary. They began thinking about their next step. The ruins had become dangerous, and retreating without profit was not a good option. Maguzo suggested changing the area, while our hero considered the possibility of going to the mine carefully in order to gain experience and loot. Ranta agreed because he was tired of the routine, but Yume was hesitant because she felt that they were already making progress. Our hero confirmed that he wanted to go to the mine, and suddenly Mary stood up in panic and left. Our hero followed her and found her on the ground. She explained that she could not bear the idea of returning to the mine because of its memories. Our hero understood, especially since she had lost her companions there, but she confirmed that she wanted to overcome this fear and asked for their help, so he reassured and encouraged her, making her smile and thank him. They decided to prepare first, so our hero went to train with Barbara, who told him that he had to endure pain and train seriously. She asked him about the girls, and she understood that he liked one of them, so he quickly changed the subject and asked her about something he had noticed in battle. She answered that it was normal, but that he needed to develop his strength further. Days later, they reached the mine, which had once been an important site before the kobold monsters took control of it. They entered and faced those monsters, which were stronger, but the team managed to defeat them. Our hero tried his new technique, while Ranta showed great strength and finished his opponent. Mary explained that kobolds had different types, but Ranta's harsh fighting style bothered our hero. They continued forward, and Mary pointed out that what awaited them would be more dangerous. They heard sounds from inside and felt tense, but they kept going. When they found a group of kobolds sleeping, Ranta suggested attacking, and a new battle broke out against a small number of them. Using magic, they managed to paralyze the monsters, allowing the others to finish them off. Our hero focused and noticed the return of the light he had felt before, letting it spread through his body until it reached the neck, realizing that a strike there would be decisive. And indeed, he delivered a precise blow that dropped the monster dead. Ranta said that these monsters had not been difficult, but Mary explained that the real challenge began on the third level, where they would face armored monsters skilled in combat techniques. Our hero suggested returning to the city so they would not grow too used to the place and become careless, and they asked Mary if she was all right, so she confirmed that she was. Hours later, they all returned to their base. That night, while the others were asleep, our hero remained awake, thinking about Ranta, since the disagreements between them continued, and he felt that a serious problem might happen soon. He tried to imagine what Minato would have done and believed that the solution lay in conversation, so he asked Ranta to go outside with him to talk. But once they were outside, our hero did not know how to begin the conversation, so he asked him what he thought of the team. Ranta answered that they were just a group, and that he was doing his role as he should. Our hero pointed out that this had not happened today, because he had not allowed anyone to help him. Ranta replied that he had still managed to defeat his opponent alone, and that this proved his position. If their roles were organized according to that, the team might become more effective. Our hero thought for a moment and decided to be patient, realizing that Ranta, like all of them, was trying to find his place in the team. He told him that there were things that could not be understood without expressing them, and that communication was necessary. Ranta asked whether he was blaming him for the misunderstanding, and our hero answered that he was not blaming anyone, but that they all had to remember that they were one team and needed to work together. Ranta admitted that he was not good at teamwork, but pointed out that each of them had strengths and weaknesses, then asked our hero about his weaknesses. Our hero answered that he had more weaknesses than strengths and did not understand the reason for the question. This answer annoyed Ranta because he felt that when it came to himself, our hero could not express his own weakness, while he could criticize others easily. Then he declared that he did not care about making friends within the team, and that they could pretend to be friends without him, while he would simply do his duty. In the end, he left without saying anything else, leaving our hero feeling helpless because he had not been able to convey what he wanted to say. The next morning, our hero woke to the sound of Yume practicing her knife throwing, and he was surprised when he realized she had been so absorbed in her training that she had fallen asleep outside without even noticing. She spoke to him with excitement, explaining how her mentor had taught her everything about knives and the kinds of weapons she should use, and our hero felt happy seeing her in such high spirits. After several hours, they returned to the mine and Mary used one of her new skills, summoning a beam of light that damaged enemies and slowed their movement, providing effective support for both Ranta and Moguzo. During the battle, our hero was facing one of the monsters and felt fear when he saw Ranta pierce through the creature's body, nearly hitting him as well. But Ranta responded coldly, saying that if he died, it would not matter. It would just be additional revenge. This disturbed our hero, but he understood that this was simply Ranta's way. In the end, they managed to corner the last monster, but before they could attack, Ranta rushed forward and struck it with a single blow that pierced completely through it and killed it. After that, they descended to the 4th floor, where they were surprised to find wide-open areas resembling farms, along with a section that contained some animals. Our hero nearly got into an argument with Ranta, who pointed his sword toward those animals, but Mary immediately ordered them to hide. Ranta tried to justify his actions, saying they should eliminate the kobolds, but Mary explained that it would be better to lure them to another floor, since those creatures are stronger in open spaces. At the moment Ranta triggered one of the traps, it was activated, and bells began to ring, alerting all the kobolds on that floor. Mary explained that the situation had become worse as all the monsters were now on high alert. Suddenly she heard heavy footsteps approaching, so she drew her weapon, but her breathing became rapid from fear. Our hero was able to see a massive kobold in the distance, and it was clear that it was the same monster that had attacked Mary's former team. Mary was unable to speak, began sweating heavily, and fell into a state of breakdown as she looked at it. Meanwhile, the kobolds began sniffing the area in search of intruders, putting the team in extreme danger. Memories of the day of the disaster returned to Mary's mind, when her companions were greeting her and talking with her, and she felt happy to be among them. At that moment, Michi had been telling them that they needed to advance deeper into the mine to maintain their control, which made her trust him as a leader, despite everything. But suddenly, she heard a voice calling her, and she returned to reality to see our hero calling out to her, while the rest of the team was confused by her condition. She quickly apologized to them, and at that moment, the massive creature passed by slowly without noticing them, so Mary ordered everyone to follow her and attempt to escape. After some time, they reached the 5th floor, where the temperature was extremely high, as it was a metalworking area where the kobolds forged their weapons. They moved forward with extreme caution to avoid being detected, and Mary told them that she knew a place her former team had used to rest, but they had to reach it without drawing attention. Our hero used his skills as a thief and managed to silently eliminate one of the kobolds. Then they slipped through the ruins until they reached the remains of an old structure. Mary explained that it had once been a church used for worship, and since the kobolds did not worship those powers, they rarely approached it, making it a suitable place to rest. As they listened, they began organizing themselves and catching their breath, and Mary noticed a staff lying on the ground and recognized it as her old weapon. Suddenly, they heard nearby sounds and felt uneasy, so Ranta threw a glowing plant toward the source, revealing 3 figures approaching them, but they looked like the undead. Our hero realized that they were Mary's former companions who had been cursed by that place, which was why they appeared in that form. Mary stepped forward, greeted them, and asked if they remembered her, but they did not respond, so she was forced to attack them with fire magic and told the team that she would advance and needed their support. Our hero understood that the light magic Mary used could purify the curse from them, and that she had learned this magic for that very reason, so he ordered everyone to support her, while Maguzo took on one of them. At the same time, Ranta, our hero, and Yume were fighting the mage, but they were surprised by a wall of fire that blocked their vision. Our hero noticed that Ranta was struggling against the rogue and realized how difficult the fight was, so he urged him to put in more effort. Moguzo was struggling against the warrior due to its immense strength, and when our hero saw the situation, he decided to intervene, but they were struck by a barrage of fire projectiles. At that moment, he saw Mary pass through the wall of fire without hesitation, so he immediately followed her. As she began invoking her light magic, our hero distracted the mage, allowing Mary to purify it. Our hero saw the look of gratitude in Mary's eyes, and she was deeply moved, collapsing as she wished her peace. After that, he asked Yume to assist Moguzo while he went to support Ranta. The two of them cooperated and attacked the enemy, which was fast and powerful, but they managed to understand its fighting style. With Ranta's help, they cut off one of its legs, causing it to lose balance. At that moment, Mary arrived from behind and used her magic to purify it, tears streaming down her face as she promised she would never forget them. Our hero praised Ranta's coordination, but Ranta replied that it was natural and there was no need to overthink it, then went to assist Maguzo, which made our hero realize the truth in his words. After they surrounded the warrior, Maguzo managed to cut off its leg, and Mary rushed toward it, using her light magic and embracing it, wishing it peace before its spirit faded away. At that moment, she realized that her companions were gone forever, and tears poured from her eyes. Moments later, Mary thanked everyone, as they had been the support she needed to free her companions. Our hero affirmed her strength. Moguzo expressed his need to train more. Shiho said she needed to learn more magic. Ranta showed his desire to improve his attacks. Yume wished for a companion like a wolf, and our hero decided to become stronger, especially as a leader. The girl suggested returning to rest, but suddenly an explosion occurred nearby, and an enemy appeared approaching them. Mary was shocked, and our hero barely managed to dodge its attack without having time to think or assess his injuries, forcing him to act quickly. When he found the opportunity, he ordered everyone to retreat immediately, and they began to run. The massive beast unleashed a thunderous roar, announcing its presence to every wolf in the area, and they began flooding in great numbers toward our hero and his team. Moguzo managed to paralyze several of them with his war cry, while Ranta drove back the wolves that tried to seize Shiho, and together they pushed forward toward the structure of the mine's smelter. Despite the relentless pursuit of the kobolds, our hero ordered them to keep advancing without looking back, while he turned to help Yume, who was desperately trying to hold the wolves off with her arrows, but their numbers were overwhelming. And at that very moment, the monster arrived, and fear spread across our hero's face. The beast seized the wooden structure and began smashing it violently, while Yume climbed up quickly, and our hero sprinted through the collapsing debris at full speed. At the final moment, he leapt, and Ranta caught him, shouting for him to climb immediately because he would not allow anyone to die here. Our hero was stunned by this action and began climbing, while arrows rained down around them, striking everything in sight. Yet the beast had no intention of stopping. It lifted a massive iron disc and slammed it into the structure, causing it to collapse completely. Our hero tried to grab Ranta's hand but failed, while Ranta clung to the remaining fragments of the structure. He told him to climb, insisting that as the leader, he had no right to stay behind and must lead the team. Our hero begged him not to die in that place, but Ranta laughed loudly and declared that would never happen. So our hero continued climbing until he reached the rest of the team on the 4th floor and informed them that Ranta would not be able to follow because the structure had completely collapsed. At that moment, everyone looked to him as their leader. He hesitated between survival and turning back, but he realized he could not abandon anyone from his team. When he saw that Ranta was still alive below, he asked Mary if there was another way to reach the 5th floor. Just then, another group of kobolds attacked them, and Mary told them they could circle around through the 3rd floor to reach him. They all agreed immediately, because they would never leave their comrade behind, no matter what. Below, Ranta began provoking the beast to draw it toward him, dodging arrows and using broken wood as cover, shouting proudly that he was acting like a true dark knight. After some time, he managed to climb to the 4th floor, but he was severely wounded and found himself inside an animal enclosure. He feared them at first, thinking they might be hostile, but used their presence to hide. He summoned his demon, which appeared and mocked him, telling him he would die and could not escape. Yet Ranta refused to give up and began searching for a way out. Meanwhile, Mary was treating our hero's wounds, while he insisted that the team's survival was the priority. Yet he could not abandon Ranta. Yume said that no matter how troublesome he was, they could not leave him because she could not bear to imagine how he must feel alone. Our hero encouraged everyone and affirmed that Ranta would not give up easily, and in the end, they all decided to return and rescue him. At that moment, a kobold approached Ranta, but he quickly killed it with his sword. However, the sound of the weapon hitting the ground alerted the others, revealing his location. He began fleeing despite his severe injuries, attempting to hide. Our hero and the team heard the noise and realized that Ranta was still alive, which shocked him greatly. At the same time, Ranta began recalling everything he had wished to accomplish before dying, but suddenly, the giant beast appeared above him and struck with immense, filling him with terror. He tried to escape as best he could, and suddenly an arrow pierced the monster's eye. At that exact moment, our hero arrived, surprising Ranta, while the rest of the team engaged the approaching enemies. Mary used her magic to heal Ranta's knee, while the others quickly defended him. Yumi announced that she had run out of arrows, so our hero and Ranta advanced forward, while Shiho cast a spell that blinded the enemies, and when they regained their sight, the group had already moved far away. After that, Mary fully healed Ranta's wounds, and he could not hold himself together when he saw them again, tears filling his eyes. Yumi mocked him for looking as though he had missed them, and he tried to deny it, but eventually admitted it. Mary asked him to calm down so she could finish treating him, and everyone felt relieved that they were together again. Our hero said they were still far from being safe, and that the road ahead remained long, so they continued moving toward the exit. During that time, he reflected on the meaning of leadership, realizing he could never become another Minato because no one could replace him. So he decided to be himself and to become a leader in his own way. When they reached the 1st floor, Mary explained that she could no longer use much magic, as she could only heal once more before needing rest, and Shiho was also extremely exhausted. They continued forward, and when they reached a narrow passage, a massive sword struck the edge, and a terrifying creature appeared behind them, throwing them into panic. Shiho used the last of her magic to attack it, but it had no effect, and our hero realized they could not fight. Yet escaping in such a confined space was nearly impossible. In that moment, he decided to sacrifice himself to buy time. He wrapped his scarf around the kobold's neck, ordered everyone to flee, and told Ranta not to disappoint him. The monster fell into the void, and Mary tried to follow, but Ranta stopped her and told her they had to escape immediately. Our hero's vision began to fade, and he asked Mary not to cry for him. He saw Ranta trying to say something and heard him telling him never to give up. Gradually, he regained his awareness, realizing that Ranta had never given up and that he could not give up either. Despite his severe injuries, with a broken wrist and a body full of wounds, he gathered his courage, bound his wrist, and gripped his dagger because this battle had become a matter of life or death. Our hero decided that as long as he was alive, he would keep fighting until the very end. Facing that monster, he did not know how long he could endure, but he noticed its slow movement and once again saw the beam of light, realizing it was his only chance. He took a deep breath, followed the path of the light, struck the monster's second eye, and blinded it, then delivered a precise blow to its back, driving his weapon into it and ending its life, before collapsing unconscious after exhausting all his strength. After several hours, our hero awoke to find Mary beside him. He asked if he was in heaven, and she laughed and welcomed him back. He stepped outside to find his companions waiting for him, greeting him with great joy and offering him food. When he asked about the monster, they were surprised he did not know. Ranta told him it was his reward for killing it, handing him a pouch containing 30 gold coins, which left him astonished. Yume explained that they had found him lying beside the monster's corpse, so they recovered the reward and kept it for him since he had defeated it. Maguzo added that he had retrieved his sword from the beast's body and would repair it to use again, which brought happiness to everyone as they had returned as a strong team. At the same time, Brit reviewed the mission in disbelief, amazed that these youths had managed to defeat such a monster, seeing it as proof of their great potential. Afterward, Afterward, our hero went for a walk, and Mary returned his necklace after repairing it, telling him that he was still her leader and must never forget that. He thanked her and told her that they would remain together for a long time. That night, they celebrated in the tavern. Kika was happy with what they had achieved. Mary seemed content with her growing closeness to our hero, and Hayashi was glad to see her smile again. At that moment, Renji arrived and approached our hero, apologizing for what had happened after Minato's death. Our hero told him he had not been ready to accept it at the time and thanked him for helping them overcome their pain, which made Renji feel proud. To celebrate, Ranta declared that he would cover a round of drinks for everyone. The next day, our hero visited Minato's grave, feeling as though he was still present. He told him that they had grown stronger and promised that he would continue improving day by day until he became a leader worthy of his team and someone Minato would be proud of. And here our story comes to an end, dear viewers. We truly hope you enjoyed it and had a great time following along. If you would like to see a second season, let us know in the comments. And before you close the video, don't forget to hit the like button to support us, subscribe for more episodes, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any new anime on the channel. Share your thoughts with us in the comments, and we'll see you again in upcoming episodes. Goodbye.